In the last year or so, I've been introducing more and more PC gaming content. Although only very recently on this YouTube channel, all the cool kids who follow RetroGameon.com will know it's a collection I've been building for a while now. The reason there's been more on this channel recently is because of how I've now set up my retro gaming PC. Before it was integrated into the TV setup, and while I'm proud I successfully connected a computer into such an old TV and stereo, the viewing quality was bollocks. Plus, I wasn't really a fan of using a wireless keyboard and mouse while sitting on a couch. So, that now brings us to this very video. I've now integrated the retro gaming computer into my modern setup, which I usually use to edit these very videos and spend countless hours staring at my Facebook feed. The keyboard and monitors are shared, so let me show you how I connected it all together.
First off, let's talk about the actual computer itself. Once upon a time, this was the family computer. It's just my dad spent somewhere near $3,000 for it back in 2003. It's a nicely spec'd out machine to play games at their fullest potential from the early 2000s and before. This Acer Aspire T300 standard, as it's so called, is repping a Pentium 4 CPU clocked at 2.8 GHz, an NVIDIA GeForce MX 440 GPU, a gigabyte of RAM, which believe me had me ecstatic at the time, an 80GB Seagate hard drive, which I'm surprised still works, and it's running Windows XP Home Edition with Service Pack 3. So why use an old computer when I have a perfectly good modern machine? Well, for one, I'm not a huge fan of using emulation for these videos. There are always visual and audio artifacts which detract from how it's actually supposed to be represented, and plus emulation doesn't always work in the first place. Over that, it's nice to be using the actual software and the actual hardware it was meant for. Also, my current computer doesn't have a disk drive. I disconnected it so I could plug in another hard drive. Anyway, onto how it's all plugged in. I've set everything up so I can run my modern computer at the same time because this is used to record the gameplay footage. Since I don't need a keyboard to control all that, the keyboard is shared between both computers. Plus, having two computers on the desk would be as awkward and weird as my personality in grade 8. I have an MT Vickle, at least that's how I think it's supposed to be said, which is a two-way USB switch box. At the push of a button, the keyboard switches between the two computers. See? Like this. Since I do need to use the mouse to control the recording software on the modern computer, however, I have a wireless mouse that's used solely for the Acer Aspire. This was as cheap as you can probably get, costing under $15 from Woolworths. I should probably buy a better one since it's used for gaming, but oh well. Now, for how the video makes it from the GeForce 440 to the monitor and into my eyeballs. A bit of a thought process was involved in this, since both video and sound needs to be recorded while being viewed, and because the video is outputted by VGA and the sound by a 3.5mm audio jack. This caused an issue since I use an Elgato Game Capture HD device, which can only use HDMI, composite, or component as inputs. I was very fortunate in the fact that my main Asus branded monitor had two HDMI inputs. This meant both the old and modern computer could be plugged in at the same time to save any cable swapping. It also has inbuilt speakers, which is important to being able to hear and record at the same time. To curb stomp the issue of going from an analog signal to a digital signal, both the VGA and 3.5mm audio cables go straight into an unbranded conversion box that outputs to HDMI. This was bought quite cheaply off eBay, but does an acceptable job. From there, a HDMI cable goes into the Elgato, with another HDMI cable going from the Elgato into the Asus monitor, and a USB cable plugging into my modern computer for power and data. Because I have two monitors, I run the recording software on the secondary monitor through the modern PC, while I have the old computer running through the second HDMI port on the main Asus monitor. And because this has inbuilt speakers, it's all recorded through the Elgato plugged in through the HDMI port. If I somehow rigged up the sound to come through my PC speaker system, I'd have no way to record it since the Elgato has no 3.5mm audio jack input. The inbuilt speakers probably aren't of the highest quality, but damn it, they will do.
So hopefully I haven't made it sound too complicated, but to get it working at a moment's notice simply consists of plugging in the Elgato, pushing a button on the USB selection box, and then turning on the Acer computer. It all works really well. So that's why I can now bring you retro gaming PC reviews.